Hey, hello friends, this is Pastor Coates, and I welcome you back once again today to Money Talk here at Family First, where we talk about money because it's important to God, it's important to us, and we need the wisdom of God on our finances. Now here's today's myth. I want to get right to it. Listen carefully, this is a myth. The myth is that poverty is holy. Poverty is somehow inherently spiritual, and that prosperity is evil. That's a myth. I think it's another outgrowth of that misquoted verse in the Bible, which actually says the love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself. But how many times have you heard someone make a statement like this? Well, I'm just not into money. I'm into God. I'm into things that are spiritual. I'm into the things that the Lord is into, feeding the homeless and building churches and setting up food pantries. Well, what's the one thing that's obviously necessary to do all of that? It's money. You see, people think that money is a perverter. They think that money is a destroyer. It's that dirty, rotten money that destroyed that person. If I had a dollar bill for every time I'd heard someone make a statement, something like this, I would be a rich man. I'm sure you've heard this. It's all that dirty, rotten money's fault. That person was a humble person. That person was a good person. They came into an inheritance, or their business is doing well and they've got prosperous. It just ruined their life. Now listen carefully. Money is not a destroyer. It's not a perverter. It doesn't create the evil that's in a person's life. It merely turns the spotlight on what may have already been in their life. I often say that money is not a reward, it's a responsibility. But in this context, money is not a creator. It doesn't create what's in a person's heart, good or evil. It merely reveals what's in a person's heart. Here's what Jesus said, Matthew chapter 12, verse 35. The good person out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his evil brings forth evil. So money does not destroy, it merely reveals. If money were evil, why then would God give us the power to gain wealth? Deuteronomy 8:18 says, you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is He that gives you the power to gain wealth. Why wouldn't God take away all of our money? Or why wouldn't the enemy give us as much money as we wanted? Because if money is evil, he would provide everything we always wanted. Well, it's ludicrous to think that money is inherently evil. It's just a commodity. It can be used for good or evil. It just merely reveals what's in a person's heart. But just as ludicrous to think that money is inherently evil is to think that poverty is inherently spiritual. You know what? And I've got to close in just a moment, but don't get me started. There is absolutely nothing of any redeeming value that comes from poverty. Don't tell me that children in Africa with swollen stomachs from starvation and extended suffering is somehow inherently good, or it's holy, or it's from God. Poverty is evil, and it destroys people's lives. Listen to this quote. You can see it right on the screen, but listen to me. If God wanted His children poor, there would be no church buildings, no missionary supports, no Christian television or radio, no good books to read or study, and no computers or cell phones to use for communication. But Satan promotes this lie because he knows that money has the power to change lives. So here's the prayer we're going to pray today. And I want you to read it right off the screen with me, and let's pray this together. Dear God, thank you for helping me to understand that money is not necessarily evil and that poverty is not inherently holy. I understand that money is only a revealer of what is already in the heart. Help me to never judge another person's heart by the condition of their finances. And these things I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.